You clicked on this video because you need a credit card, but your credit is not where you want it to be. Maybe you have late payments dragging you down, or a collection that showed up out of nowhere, or your balance are just too high right now. For whatever reason, I got you. In this video, I'm gonna show you the best credit cards that you can actually get approved for, even with bad credit. I'm going to walk you through each card, explain why it works, and share the pros and cons so you can figure out which one is right for your situation. And at the end of this video, I have a bonus tip that can boost your score in as little as 30 days, so just make sure you stick around for that. So let's get into it. Before we jump onto the cards, let me give you some context. Bad credit means different depending on the credit scoring model, but as a general rule of thumb, anything under 600 can be considered bad credit. Now, here's something important that most people do not talk about. Why your score is low matters as much as the number itself. If your score is low because of high balances, then you're actually in a decent spot to get approved for a new card. You might just get a smaller limit. But if you have recent negative marks like late payments, collections, or charge-offs from the last 12 months, getting approved is going to be much tougher. So before you start applying, pull your credit reports to check your FICO scores either through MyFICO or MyScoreIQ for $1 for the first week. That way you know exactly what you're working with and you're not wasting hard inquiries on cards that you're not going to get approved for anyways. Alright, so now let's talk about the cards. The first card I want to talk about is the Capital One Platinum card, and this is one of my top recommendations for anyone rebuilding their credit. Capital One is one of the largest subprime lenders in the country, which means that they have built an entire product lineup specifically for people in your situation. So here's what I like about this card. First, there's no annual fee, so you're not paying money just to have this card in your wallet. Second, Capital One has a pre-approval tool on their website where you can fill out a short form and within seconds, you will know the likelihood of you getting approved, all without hurting your credit score. But here's the biggest win. After just 6 months of responsible use, Capital One automatically reviews your account for a credit limit increase. You don't even have to ask for it, they just do it. And once your credit improves, you can call customer service to request for a product change to upgrade to a better card like the Quicksilver. It will be the same account, just better rewards, and no new hard inquiry on your credit. I actually did this myself a long time ago. I thought that the Platinum card was just a temporary card, but the upgrade path made it a long-term keeper. You also get free credit tracking through CreditWise so you can watch your score improve, and there are no foreign transaction fees, which is rare for an entry-level card. The Capital One Platinum is a solid starting point, but it does not offer much in terms of rewards or cashback. If you want a card that helps you build credit while also earning something back on your purchases, our next option might be a better fit. Discover is another great option for people rebuilding their credit, and I always recommend trying them alongside Capital One to double your chances of getting approved somewhere. They also have their own pre-approval tool, and here's the thing about Discover. If they show you an offer through the pre-qualification tool, you are very likely to get approved when you formally apply. They're also known on being generous with credit limits and have a solid reputation with working with people who had credit problems in the past. Now, you might have heard that Discover and Capital One completed a merger back in May of 2025. And that is true. But here's what you need to know. They are still operating as completely separate brands right now. You cannot apply for Discover card through the Capital One's website, and you cannot apply for Capital One through the Discover site. So for now, treat them as two different options and apply for both if you want to optimize your approval odds. Capital One and Discover are my top picks for major issuers, but what if you're already using a specific ecosystem for your day-to-day spending? The next few cards integrate directly with platforms that you might already be using, which can make managing your credit a lot easier. Next on the list will be the Apple Card. If you're already an Apple user, then this card is practically made for you. The Apple Card integrates directly with your iPhone, making it one of the easiest credit cards to manage. Everything lives in your wallet app, and you can see a spending breakdown in real time, and there is no fees at all. No annual fee, no late fees, no foreign transaction fees. So here's what makes the Apple Card special. You can get it pre-approved and see exactly your starting credit limit before you even accept the offer. That is pretty rare. Most credit cards do not tell you what limit that you're getting until you already applied and taken the hard inquiry. Now, you can still get denied for the Apple Card depending on your credit profile, but here's the good news. Apple offers something called the Path to Apple Card program. If you get declined, they will give you a customized checklist of steps to improve your approval odds. Once you complete those steps and your credit stays solid, they will send you an invite to reapply. I actually went through this program a long time ago, but this is when I was on a credit card application spree and had a lot of new accounts and inquiries on my report, so I did not get approved right away. But over time, as my credit improved, I got a notification from Apple to reapply and I got in. I should mention that there has been talks about the Apple Card moving away from Goldman Sachs to a different lender, But as of right now, the program is still active and the path to Apple Card still works. As for rewards, you get 2% cash back on all purchases made through Apple Pay and 3% back on Apple purchases. If you are already using Apple Pay for most of your transactions, then this is basically free money on something that you're already doing. Another perk is that you can finance Apple products at 0% interest up to 24 months. I will say that the Apple Card is great if you're already in the ecosystem, but it is not the best option if you're not an iPhone user. The next two cards might make more sense for you, and they have a unique benefit that most cards do not offer. Next up is the Venmo card, and they have a feature that I really like. If you apply and do not get approved, it only results in a soft inquiry. Your credit score stays exactly the same. But if you do get approved, that's when they will do a hard inquiry. It's a win-win situation because you can check if you qualify without any risk to your score. The reward structure is what really sets this card apart from the others. You earn 3% cash back on your top spending category each month, 2% on the highest second category, and 1% on everything else. And the best part is that it's completely automatic. You do not have to track categories or activate anything. The card figures out your spending patterns and applies the rewards for you. A good friend of mine uses this card and he loves it for places like Target, Walmart, and Costco. Those are stores where it's usually hard to earn meaningful cash back, but with the Venmo card, he gets 3% back without ever thinking about it. Your cash back gets deposited directly into your Venmo account, so you can use it to pay friends or make purchases right away. There's also no foreign transaction fees, which makes it solid for travel or shopping with international merchants online. The Venmo card is pretty awesome for everyday rewards, but it works best if you're already using Venmo regularly. Now, just like the Venmo card, the PayPal credit card will not hurt your credit score if you get declined. Soft inquiries only. If you shop online frequently, this card makes a lot of sense because you get 3% back on all PayPal purchases and 1.5% back on everything else. Since PayPal is accepted at so many online retailers, that 3% cash back makes it an excellent alternative to store-specific cards. There's also no annual fee, so it's worth keeping long term, but there's something that is important that you need to know. This card is issued by Synchrony, and Synchrony is known to close accounts without warning if they see inactivity. So do not let this card sit in the drawer collecting dust. Use it at least once every few months just to keep the account active. I actually learned this the hard way. The PayPal card is actually one of my oldest cards in my credit profile, and it just closed it out of nowhere. My score actually dropped because of it. So if you get this card, just make sure that you actually use it. The PayPal card is ideal for online shopping, but if you are looking to access higher credit limits and a credit union that actually works with people rebuilding their credit, you're about to want to hear about this next option. If you never heard of Navy Federal, it's probably one of the best credit unions that you can join if your credit score is on the lower end. They are known to be giving out higher credit limits even to people who are rebuilding, and their products are generally pretty solid. To join Navy Federal, you usually have to have ties to the military. Either you serve yourself or you have family members who did. Even though you're not directly in the military, having a relative who served can often qualify you for membership. If you want to learn exactly how to join, I do have a video that breaks it down step by step. I'll put the link right here. For those who have bad credit, I recommend getting the Cash Rewards or the Cash Rewards Plus first. If you get approved for a credit limit of $5,000 or more, you automatically receive the Cash Rewards Plus, which earns an unlimited 2% cash back on everything. If your limit is below $5,000, then you get the standard Cash Rewards, which earns 1.5% cash back. Either way, there's no annual fee, no balance transfer fees, and no foreign transaction fees. They also often have a welcome bonus, something like $250 after spending $2,500 within the first 90 days. Navy Federal is also known for quick graduation paths. So if you start with the secure card, you can often graduate to an unsecured card within 6 months, and the credit limits grow fast. I have seen people go from $0 to $8,000 of a credit limit in less than a year with Navy Federal. Now, those are the main credit cards that I do recommend, but I do want to talk about another option that might be actually the smartest move if you are watching this video. Here's the truth. Secure cards might not sound as exciting as regular credit cards, but they are often better than unsecured credit cards that approved people with bad credit end up getting. Secure cards come from major banks. They have low to no fees, and they give you a real path to building credit with a legitimate financial institution. So here's how they work. You put down a refundable security deposit, usually between $200 to $500, and the deposit becomes your credit limit. The deposit does not pay for your bills each month, but it just sits there as protection for the bank in case if you stop paying. You use the card like any other credit card. Just pay your bills on time, and the bank reports your payment history to all 3 major credit bureaus. The nice thing about secure cards is that if you use them responsibly, most banks will graduate you to an unsecured card and they will give you your deposit back. My top recommendation is the Discover It Secure Card. There's no annual fee, you earn cash back while you rebuild, and Discover has a reputation for graduating people quickly, often within 6 to 8 months of on-time payments. They will upgrade you to the regular Discover card and refund your deposit. Another option is the Capital One Platinum Secure card. They let you start with as little as $49 and you still get a $200 credit limit, which is a low barrier to entry than most secure cards. And if you join Navy Federal, their secure cards is one of the best graduation paths. This is the one that I was talking about, how you can get up to $8,000 of unsecured credit limits under a year. Alright, so I told you that I would be honest in this video, so let me talk about the cards that I do not recommend. These are the ones that other creators push, but they come with some serious downsides that can actually hurt you more than they can help. So I'm gonna keep this brief because I don't want to spend too much time on cards that I think that you should not get. First is Credit One. They sound a lot like Capital One, but they are totally different. Credit One targets people with bad credit and they will approve a lot of people, but they charge high annual fees, maintenance fees, and some of the highest interest rates in the industry. You might get a $300 limit, but then immediately own $75 annual fee before you even use the card. First Premier is also the same story. They approve almost anyone, but the fees are brutal. Then you got Kankura Credit, which manage cards like Indigo, Destiny, and Milestone. These are all basically the same card, but just with different names. They have small limits, high fees, and high interest rates. Continental Finance is similar. They have the Surge card, Reflex, Fit, and Cerulean. It's pretty much the same product, but just different marketing. These cards are legitimate and they do report to the credit bureaus, but they make it really hard to actually build credit because your fees eat into the available credit immediately and the terms work against you. My recommendation is just to avoid these cards if you can. You're better off with a secure card from a major bank where it has lower costs and a better upgrade path. And you're actually building a relationship with a real lender that will grow with you over time. Now, another honorable mention that I want to briefly go over is retail store cards. Cards from places like Amazon, Best Buy, Macy's, and Home Depot are often easier to get approved for, even with scores in the low 500s. They report to the credit bureaus so they can actually help you build credit. The downside is that most of them can only work at specific stores and the interest rates are kind of terrible. But if you pay your balance in full every single month, the interest rate does not matter. If you need to get your foot in the door somewhere, a retail card can just work. Just don't open too many at once. Alright, so we covered a lot of cards in this video, but getting a new card is only one part of the equation. If you actually want to boost your score, there's only one strategy that works faster than anything else. Credit utilization is the percentage of your available credit that you're using. For example, if you have $10,000 in total credit limits across your cards and you're carrying a $3,000 balance, your utilization is 30%. Ideally, you want to keep it below 30%, but if you want to see your score really jump, you want to aim under 10% or lower. So here are 5 quick ways to lower your utilization. First is just to pay down your balances. Use the snowball method to pay off your smallest balances first, or use the avalanche method to tackle the highest interest rate first. Either way, paying down debt lowers your utilization. Second is to pay before the statement closing date. Your balance gets reported to the credit bureaus on your statement closing date, not your due date. If you pay off your balance before the statement closes, a lower balance gets reported and your utilization looks better. I have a whole video on when to pay your credit card for maximum score impact. I'll link it right here. Third is to make multiple payments throughout the month instead of just one. Pay weekly or just every 2 weeks just to keep your balances low. Fourth is to request for a credit limit increase. If your limit goes up and your balances stay the same, your utilization goes down. Just ask if it's a hard or a soft inquiry first. Fifth is to consider consolidating your debt. If your score has improved, you might qualify for a personal loan to pay off your credit card balances. Since personal loans are installment credit and not revolving credit, your utilization drops. So that's everything that you need to know about getting a credit card with bad credit. But here's the thing, this whole video is about finding the right credit card. But if you have multiple negative marks on your credit report, no credit card is gonna fix that. Late payments, collections, charge-offs, those are the things that are really holding you back. So if you wanna actually remove these bad marks from your credit report, check out my DIY tool, Credit Rehab Pro. In a matter of a few seconds, you can create dispute letters specific towards your situation and print them out at home. What's more is that if an account wasn't deleted, the software suggests a new strategy for additional disputes. You can repair your credit at your own pace in your own time. Scan the QR code here or click the link down in the description to check it out.